I'm just not sure that he's a call-up for this window because you're not cap-tying him. Are you throwing him into a game where you only have one game against a national team and then some sort of experimental game against something in the community? I just don't see necessarily the worth of calling him up when you still want to use at least that Panama game as something to continue to build the squad for 2026. And could he be in that squad? Yes. But I don't necessarily think the project is to have him starting in that squad.
It's funny that you phrase it that way because I also think that whether your answer comes from this feeling that if a guy's ready to be called up, well, he just needs to start and be ready to go play in the World Cup, which has been the case with some stellar Canadians. And, I mean, Tejan Buchanan was pretty quick like that, right? But Tejan Buchanan had a full MLS experience with at least a full season or a season and a half with New England. He was touted. He had the full camp experience. I think he had maybe before that Olympic camp that he played while Canada was at the Gold Cup. I think he'd already had some experience in the Canada camp if he'd not actually had his debut. To me, that's all valuable experience for a player to think that they're just going to come in once they're ready to be used in the starting lineup. Look, there's a few guys that works for, but I don't think that that's the norm. And I don't think that Marsh looks at building a team that way. I think you're talking about guys being involved and being a part of the program. Remember, he's thinking about 26, and I think it'd be very valuable if you're not taking a spot away from someone else that's going to be a part of 26. It's very valuable to have those people around. We see how important that is just to have guys who aren't even playing but are the real team guys or a part of the squad, both on the men's and the women's side. Like Desiree Scott being at the Olympics, I firmly believe they do not prevail and get through and are not as strong mentally if you don't have someone like Desiree Scott in that room. Now, not alone, but I mean, you don't think that took a lot of pressure off Janine Becky, having Desiree Scott there, or Kaylin Sheridan, or the other veteran voices. So that all just goes to show that it's not always how it will benefit on the pitch for that specific game. I think that there's a lot of immeasurable value that comes with being involved in a camp, and I think that he would jump at that chance to get a call if it meant he wasn't being capped, but he was just involved in the environment and involved in the experience. And I think that's something that in the game we are very quick to overlook because there's just not enough time, or it's all results driven and you're thinking about one specific target and task. But it shouldn't be lost on how much human value there is, I think, to that experience for someone who you're hoping is a key part of the program for years to come.
Well, with DeFougerol getting called in and Swiderski getting called in as a training player, Marsh has also shown that he's willing to look at guys. So I think for Lopez, it's again maybe a bit of both, where it's like Swiderski, it made sense, the season was over, everything worked out. Lopez is trying to win a spot right now for Puma, so I think it's also circumstantial. But I think if as soon as an opportunity comes, no hesitation. If he's the 30th guy, if he's not even going to see the field, but he's just there, I think there is value.
That's my old man wisdom for you guys. I realize how much of a NFP dad I sounded like there.